Back to the big analysis here on Beyond the Numbers. So we are delving into a deeper conversation on government's decision to re-enter, reopen basically the bond market after 3 years of staying behind closed doors. Already government has been dependent on the Treasury bill market to finance its project going forward. That has been the limited financing structure for the last 3 years under the IMF program. Now, want to assess the risks involved going back and what we must be cautious about, considering the effects, implications that many endured investing in sovereign debt bonds. So that has to do with the DDEP. So far, government has demonstrated that they can be able to fulfill their debt obligations by making sure that all maturing interests owed both domestic and bilateral creditors, they've been able to fulfill. And most are also expecting some positive B rating, considering how government has been able to manage its debt. Before we get to the conversation with my colleague Kofi and Caleb, the National Petroleum Authority has issued a directive to over 300 OMCs and 30 BIDCs, basically telling them that directing all OMCs to stop discounting their fuel price. We saw some few weeks ago when fuel prices were coming down. Yeah. Some of them decided to even sell Wati at their old OMC pumps because they were attracting most customers using different marketing strategy, with some also advocating for easy access depending on how wide stretch their pumps are, stations are across the nation. Now, this directive coming through, many have questioned why the regulator will go that direction, considering the factors where we are operating in a deregulated market, where factors such as the global commodity price, as well as different pricing formulas are taken into consideration. However, how do you see it, Kofi?
Well, I simply do not know why we have to come to this point, especially with the NPA saying stop all forms of discounting, right? There's already a price floor. If somebody decides to say that I'm selling at a certain price, but I'm giving my customers discount based on what I think that I've been able to get from the market or the relief that I have, I don't think that NPA should stop oil marketing companies from applying discount. I simply do not know why this decision is necessary now, especially looking at the fact that in the last 2 windows, we've seen fuel prices go up twice, right? Mm-hmm. Now we're enjoying a price for about some 9 cedis, I think 99 pesos or 98 pesos. Then you set a new price floor, which is now more than 10 cedis. Another price floor has come, and the expectation is that, looking at what is even going on in Russia, Iran and the US, and also in the Middle East, you are likely to see a higher than expected price floor in the next pricing window, and you're stopping other OMCs from applying discounts. So how, if an OMC has a certain sort of a relief and they want to give out to their customers, how do they do it if you want discount to go away completely?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think for the NPA, the regulations allow that some OMCs have about 3% discount within some of their fuel stations. So the current regulations allow that some OMCs apply the discount. And the problem here is that there's also a regulation that says that there should be uniform pricing across the country. So if you go to any...
That can be possible. That can be possible, right?
So which is why we pay some taxes for uniform pricing. So that if your filling station is in the northern region, the transportation cost is covered by that fund. So that when you take your tankers or your fuel from Accra to that filling station, the distance that would have added the cost to make it more expensive in the northern region is taken by the government because of that fund. Which is why in Accra and in Kumasi or in Tamale, the price of petrol and diesel is always the same.
So the question is, if you want a uniform price, if you want a uniform price, why then introduce price floor?
No, so
why don't you set a national price that is fixed? There's no floor, there's no ceiling.
Again, so all of this was to protect the industry. So now some of the OMCs are complaining that because the 2 big players, Gold and Star, are competing, and some of them are offering, discounted here and there, it has distorted the market. We don't have uniform pricing anymore. You can go to a Guel station today, get for say 2 cedis, go to another one, it's the same Guel, and get for 5 cedis. So the people staying around the 2 cedi filling station are benefiting from the same OMC, which some of the players say is not fair because the smaller OMCs cannot afford a discount. So either you're selling at the price floor for all your stations, or don't offer discounts at all?
It appears there are perception that there are some OMCs selling adulterated fuel on the market. Some of them also using unregulated routes to get unapproved route to access fuel from neighboring countries. And these are all suspicious allegations coming up. We hope the OMC will be up and upfront with Ghanaians, because one thing that many are looking for is how is the National Petroleum Authority protecting only the marketers.
But Winston, it's also clear that there are also people who have the kind of perception that all of these regulations are geared towards protecting one player in the space, right? Which is making some other players not happy, not really comfortable, that it looks like you are using the state powers to possibly protect one OMC. And you are not allowing other OMCs to use their own marketing strategies to take advantage of the market. I have my margin. I have what I'm supposed to benefit from the whole price chain. And I believe that I've reached a certain point that I can give a certain part to customers. Why are you not allowing me to issue discount? Why are you forcing everybody to price at one price? Even with electricity, we have, price discrimination all over the country. So why should it be the same for, why should it be the case for petrol, where you're forcing almost everybody to sell at a certain price that one OMC is selling, and forcing everybody to go to one OMC, and forcing everybody to actually sell at a certain price, and everybody's saying that you're doing that to protect just one player?
You know, most have questioned the whole structure of licensing, basically. We have so many OMCs in the market. Now, it's either the NPA is unable to regulate over 300 OMCs. It's either the NPA is finding challenges in ensuring...
Some of the OMCs don't even have to exist, right?
Exactly. If you go to the structure of their 4 stations, you realize that these people do not even deserve a license.
Yeah.
Some are located in an unapproved localities, in communities and areas. Just this past year, we've heard, including this morning, some fuel tankers catching fire, explosive all over the places. What is the OMC doing about it? How are they ensuring the regulations and standardization of various fuel quality? Trust me, if you are using a vehicle, you can attest with the sound of your engine, the quality of fuel you receive or you buy at a particular pump. Some of them, when you buy, you tell you that your engine is dancing different like Baja, because it's, we are in a Ghana month. Differently, we have to ensure that that protectionist policy is there, not just to the OMCs, but to the consumers. How do we benefit with all this? Surely everyone is expecting fuel price to go up, because the factor, freight prices is an element in the whole refinery pricing as part of the formula. All this will contribute to inflation going upwards. Already, the simple food inflation subsectors we felt just today. Let's hope to get more.
Now, just imagine that we are all selling one product. You have made it a point that you have refined that product to the extent that it is benefiting your consumers.
The investment you've made.
And that your refinery is a bit expensive, and because of that, your consumers can now afford that better product. There are those who are selling an inferior, the same product but inferior part of it, and now there's a price floor that is forcing everybody to actually charge at a certain price floor that the person who has added some level of additives, some level of refinement, some level of quality to that product that they're selling that same price at somebody possibly who is selling at an inferior price. And many have said that this is not helping the market. Set your price floor, but allow the market to play its game. And if you are forcing to have a number of OMCs, it's better to keep fewer who are quality than to keep over 300 OMCs. And almost all the time, you need to use price floors to make sure that the industry is profitable.
No, but I think the other side of the argument is that only the big players can afford the discount. So the smaller OMCs, or the other OMCs, if you might say, cannot afford a discount. So allowing the discount to go on the way it's going, and we all understand why the discount is happening in the first place, because some market players are struggling for the market share. So once the larger market players are able to offer a discount at some select filling stations, like I said earlier, once it distorts the market because there's no uniform pricing. The NP wants uniform pricing. They don't want.
There's no uniform quality as well.
Well, no. So uniform pricing for one OMC. So if you're an OMC, you say you have diesel for 5 cedis. Whenever I go to that particular OMC, it should be 5 cedis. So if I go to Well, If they say 10 cities, it should be 10 cities. Star, if they say 2 cities, it should be 2 cities. But we shouldn't have Star having different prices in different countries, in different areas, because it disadvantages the consumer, which is exactly why the NPA says that, okay, even though discount is allowed, the way and manner which is being used for the past few weeks seems to be, some competition between.
If you're into marketing, you understand that. Exactly.
We can go on and on with this conversation.
Because you want demography in various areas changes.
Exactly.
In terms of,
so the point is, if you're an OMC and you say you want to sell below a certain price, give it to all your consumers. Don't limit it to a particular area.
If you're a branch manager of a company, and that branch is performing better than another branch, certainly you'll get bonuses.
Come on.
I disagree.
I don't think that this policy of forcing everybody to sell or discontinue with the discounting policy is actually necessary at this point in time. We are only creating some sort of uneasiness in the market and making other players feel that there is a certain dark force against them, which I don't think that is really helping the growth of the industry.
But if I tell that we have indication that it was the industry that actually pushed for this. So it wasn't the NPA that was
the industry. It could be the majority decision, but definitely if you go to the meeting, there's some OMCs who are not happy with the decision. So if you say it's the industry, you need to ask yourself, out of the 300 OMCs that we have, how many actually voted that we should even go on this route? How many said that, well, let's stay where we are and still go ahead with discounts? But, I mean, away from that, I think